What's up, everybody? This is Johnny Basement, and we are back here in the basement for a review of the Brisbane Lions versus the Port Adelaide Power. Played at 1:30 in the morning here in America. That's why for everybody that keeps asking me if I get a live stream these games, 1:35 in the morning here, house full of people. I can't do that. I can't do that because I get emotional, I get high-strung, I get hyped up. If you guys, and by the way, guys, if you haven't come into one of my live streams, there's a lot of Aussies that come into my live streams when I do my New York Rangers or the New York Knicks. Drop in, say hello. There's a whole bunch of Aussie brethren of yours in there with me, along with a bunch of Americans too. It's a lot of fun. We talk about all types of different things in there along with the game. So if you want to drop in, hit your bell notice, you'll know when I'm on. For instance, at the date of this video, March 18th, 2023, I'll be doing the New York Rangers game tonight at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. here in New York, 8 p.m. So whatever time that is for you over there, you hit that bell notice, you'll see when I'm on. So I hope to see some more new faces in there. Well, new faces, new names in there, and we'll keep that rolling if you want to see one of my live streams. Eventually, when these Lions games get closer to 6, 7 in the morning here, then I'll be able to do some of them there. The 1:30 in the morning games, guys, just to answer a lot of questions that were in the comments, the 1:30 in the morning games, I can't do that. I just can't. I want to, but I can't. So, if you're new here, subscribe, bell notice, hit the like button, drop those great comments. You guys are so helpful. You guys are so helpful. I'm going to give a shout out to all you guys. It's extremely helpful to me and understanding and patient, knowing this is my journey down the AFL map for the first time. This is my first season. Done about 3 months of stuff, making this from the very first video calling it rugby. We've grown so much since then, I'm up to 78% of knowledge of what I'm talking about here. And when I make mistakes, guys, they're honest mistakes. They really are. If I botch up a name, that's going to happen. It's happened. It's not on purpose. I look up as much as I can on it. So thank you all to that stuff. Thank you, guys. Shout out to Grady. Grady, you is an Aussie that is a regular in my live streams. Shout out to you, Grady. Much appreciated. And we're taking Aaron Rodgers out of your division. So he's a Detroit Lions fan as well as a Brisbane Lion fan. And Mikey the Hat, thank you for your comments as well. I saw it, I didn't comment back yet. I'm going to get to the comments after this video. But Mikey the Hat, thank you for letting me know that Brisbane hasn't won in 4 years in Port Adelaide before this game today. And what happened in this game today? Oh, man, I watched the whole replay. I knew the score going in. I can't help myself. I had to look it up. Lot to go over, guys. Lot to go over. Got some good news. We're going to save that for the end. Got some good news. We're going to save it for the end. We're going to get into the game now. And remember when I said that why I picked the Brisbane Lions? Because they're an up-and-coming team, made some great additions, and got a good draft. So the team they have together, the coach Chris Fagan, everything looks great. Everything looks great coming into the season. Now, when I picked the Brisbane Lions, it's because the Jets are the same way. You guys heard me say this before. I'm not going to get all deep into it again. Another team that hasn't won in a while. Got some young, great players like Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. We had the offensive and defensive rookie of the year. That's like happened in the NFL like 3 or 4 times, maybe. So the Jets would do the same thing. Come out in the first game. We're going to have all these expectations. And then forget there's a second half to be played. A second half. It seemed like nobody on the Lions knew there's a whole third and fourth quarter to play. Wow. But the first quarter, it seemed like the Power had, even though it was 23-13 at the end of the first quarter, it just seemed like the Power had the momentum. Just like right off the bat had the momentum. And after reading Mikey's comment about how Brisbane hadn't won there in 4 years. Now, this is obviously on my last video. This was before the game that I read that comment. This was on my last video I did for part of round 1. Speaking of that, I am doing round 1 all tomorrow. I'm going to drop a video on the rest of the games for round 1. Brisbane, I'm always going to do separate because that's our team. That's Brisbane. I'll always do that separate from the round. Guys, there's a whole second half that has to be played. 23-13 was the end of the first quarter, but it seemed like it was a lot more than that. It seemed like the Lions were just more behind at the end of that first quarter. I said, I don't know. They're down by 10, but it seems like they're down by 60. But then the second quarter came around, and Dixon screwed that all up for the Power. He took the momentum away from them with the hit, and then mouthing off to the official. That became, what, a 100-meter penalty? Wow, so of course he's going to get 6 points. I tried not to look at my notes. I forgot the freaking name. I'm sorry. I'll always tell you guys that when I do. But it's because of Dixon. He hit, what's his name? Daniel Rich, thank you. Of course, I have not that much written and I can't find the name, of course. Anyway, Daniel Rich, he was the one that he hit. He went on down the field and easily scored the 6 points. So Dixon was the one that screwed that up for the Power. And that's where we took over the second quarter. All right, the Lions are going to come back in this thing. We're going to come back in this thing. We make this thing a game. Now we're taking the lead. I think we had an 18-point lead at the half. It was 51-39. 51-39. I nailed that. See, I try. My other sports, I don't really look at notes. This I have to. I try to speed things up, and sometimes it just doesn't work. But 51-39 at the half. The Lions are coming through with all their greatness, all their young talk, all their stuff saying, letting the league know, watch out for the Lions. And all the previews I read was all about the Lions and how they beat the Port Adelaide last year at the Gabba. Beat them 80-59, I believe the score was. They scored 5 amazing goals in the fourth quarter to win that game and take the win away from the Power there. So that was at home. That's not the case today. Man, did the Power remember that. Scoring 5 goals at the end of the fourth in 2022 to set off round 1. Well, what did they have in store for us in the second half? The second half, the Lions weren't even around. 52-8 in that what was that third quarter? What was that? You know what that was? I'm going to tell you what that was. I picked the right team. It's exactly what my team does from time to time. They forget there's a whole second half to be played. 52-8. My God. 52-8. What do you do with that? These guys, you had 51 at the end of the first half. You only scored 8? I said, oh, man, this is going to be really bad. I know anything can happen in games. The fourth quarter could turn around, no problem. The Lions are going to come back because we got the power. We got it going on. Sometimes, what we did, we scored 13, so we didn't score 8. So we managed to score 5 more points. They outscored us 35-13. What an embarrassment, man. What an embarrassment in that second half. We'll get into all I know it's one game and all the whole things, but losing 126-72 by 54-point loss. Now, I'm just getting into the Lions. I'm going to be with the Lions. If they lost every game, when I go in, I go in. You see the Knicks back there. You see the Jets back there. No bandwagon is attached to either one of those teams. Trust and believe. I stick to my teams. And because there's a lot of pressure, when you let me tell you something. When you nail a team down as being, this team's going to win the championship. This team's got it going on. This team added great players. This team added this team. No one's going to beat them. No one's going to stay on top of them. It's a lot of pressure, especially for players that may have never been there before. Now you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, the weight of the world from the fans. Everybody's expecting this greatness, and it looked great in the first half. It looked like, all right, man, I think we got this going on. We survived the first quarter, even though we were losing 23-13. We came back in that second quarter, and thanks to Dixon, man, the whole momentum swung the Lions' way to go up by 18 at half. I said, man, now they're going to learn. But you know what? They came out, and it just didn't work out that way. A lot of pressure that you can put on players and teams, especially with guys that aren't used to winning. That's just the way it is. It's just one game. All the nice little, things we say as fans, and I don't care what the sport is, all the sayings are the same. It's one game. Let them get it together. Hey, they got to gel. Let it become synergy. Once the synergy connects, watch out. Once they know how each other works out, watch out. These are all the things that we say. This is what we do, and fans are weird, right? We go on hot streaks, we go on low streaks, we go on, hey, when team's winning and they're hot, oh, this is great, and then if they turn around and lose, let's say 2 in a row, oh, this team's not going to go anywhere. Man, we are a real picky bunch as fans, because we all do it. We all do it. The same player we praise this week, next week we're trashing them out. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is when it comes to sports, man. That's what fans are. So the diehard Lions fans are like when my team, if the Jets do that, they get Aaron Rodgers and they come out and they lose that week 1. Let's just say they lose the same way. Forget there's a whole second half to be played. Oh, the media, it's going to go crazy. Everybody's going to be like, oh, what an awful move. What awful trades. What are we doing? But if we win, it's going to be, we're going to win the whole thing. If the Lions held on and won today, we'd all be saying that. They're going to win the whole thing. They're going to go out there. They're going to crush everybody. And they still will. It is just one game. Even if they won huge today, even if they were the ones that won 126-72, we would be saying, they're going to roll over everybody. It's just one game. I mean, the statements are what we're expected to say, but they are true. It is one game. These guys do have to gel together. They do. So what was the good news that I was talking about? There's a lot of good news. A lot of good news. Because I don't remember everybody, I remember the biggest one. He drafted Will Ashcroft, man. His father won 3 premierships with the Lions. His father, I believe, played in 318 games for them. So there's a lot of pressure on. Talk about pressure. You have a legendary father that played for the same team that you're on, for the Lions. There's a lot of pressure that comes along with that. And you know what? Everybody expects him to be his father. My favorite running back in the NFL was Walter Payton. That was his name. Walter Payton. He was the greatest running back of all time. Can you imagine how much pressure was on his great son, Jarrett Payton? I mean, you're talking about legendary status, man. You're going to come out and you're a running back like your father. It's going to be hard to match up to that. We've had guys in the NFL that played a whole different position, so you couldn't compare them. Like Tony Dorsett ran for the Dallas Cowboys. His son, Anthony Dorsett, even went with the full name and played on defense. Offense, defense. You can't compare them. So there are certain things that pressure brings, especially when your father's legendary. There's going to be tons of pressure on Will Ashcroft this year. But he did score a goal. He looked good. He looked ready to go. He's 18. He's a kid. He's a kid. So there's got to be the right veterans around him to keep him moving forward. We also got, I like some of the players that we got. Think about this, man. We got Jack Gunston. Jack Gunston's going to team up with, I didn't want to mess his name up. I've done this a few times. Danaher and the other one's easy, Hipwood. That's going to make for a great forward line. I looked on the history of these two guys, and Danaher was huge in that first game last year at round 1 at the GABA. He was huge against them. I believe he scored 4 goals in that one. So Danaher is great. They make for a monster forward line compared to what I've read on the other teams. This looks like a great forward line that you may not find other places. So that was a great pickup by Gunston. He played 2 years in Adelaide and the next 11 at Hawthorn. So he's a seasoned veteran. That's the kind of guy that can help out a young guy like an Ashcroft. That's the kind of guy. That's the kind of leadership that you want on a team. This is all good news, guys. This stuff will gel. We also got Josh Dunkley. He was a former Bulldog. He comes over here. He won the Charles Sutton for best and fairest on the Bulldog team. And he also played in 117 games. He has 65 total goals. That's a huge upgrade in the midfield. Huge upgrade, and he's young. Man, that's going to be another stellar addition to the Lions. That's another person to look forward to. Dunkley, by the way, in his career, he's had 117 games, and he scored 65 total goals. And I just read the same thing. That was... Why did that happen? Because we're in the basement. That's why that happened. I just read the same thing off the same player. What an idiot. Anyway, Gunston played in 432 games. His debut was versus the Lions in 2010. That's 432 goals he's played in 226 games. Put the notes down, Johnny. So, these are guys that are absolutely outstanding. I believe they got Connor McKenna, who played the Gaelic football the last couple of years. Before that, he was an Essendon Bomber. These are 4 guys. Now, he's only on a 1-year deal. And I assume he's on that 1-year deal. I'm assuming he's on it because he has been out of the league for a couple of years and the Lions want to see. It's like, it's like a prove-it contract. We'll sign you for a year and let's see what happens. Let's see how you do. But he's a fast defenseman. He seems like he's going to be really good for this team. So there's a lot of great positives going on with the Lions. A lot of great positives going on. And big shout out to the Brisbane Lions customer service. They were so helpful to me getting my Watch AFL app, getting that app going. I had a couple of issues getting it going. I called Brisbane from New York. Called Brisbane. So shout out to the Brisbane customer service team of Ben and Cassidy. And I hope I got their names right. They were extremely helpful on there. And the Lions shop, the Guernsey came in 1 size too small. I sent it back. Boom, boom, boom. You would think that I sent it in the United States and it came right back. Sent it halfway around the world, it came back. So big shout. I'm very impressed with the Brisbane Lions organization in the short time that I've been a member and a fan of the team. So I am all in on this stuff. I watched the Melbourne game this morning. I was up at 5 in the morning. There's no way I can get up at 1:30, but I was up at 5 in the morning. I'm pumped up. We're going to do the rest of the rounds. I'm going to have a video tomorrow. We're going to round up the rest of the round for the week. That's going to be a weekly thing. Guys, I appreciate you being on this journey with me. I'm going to get better and better and better. I'm going to find out how to get the videos because there are certain ways to get it, but the AFL has such a lockdown on them that when you spend all this time, picture all this time while I've been talking right now, but doing it with a video and then uploading it for a while and then having to edit it and you just found out that it just wasn't, no, copyright, boom. You won't find it out till that point. So all this time you put in, and I did it on the last video you guys watched yesterday, and I appreciate that. I did 2 different videos for that. 2. I spent over 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, and both of them were shut down. I'm talking about the total for both. So it is a grind back here. It really is. And AFL right now is my #1 project to keep learning. My other sports, I know that stuff. I already know that stuff. You guys come on the live stream with me tonight or in the morning for you guys when I do the New York Rangers tonight. My New York Knicks playing a little bit. You might catch me on that and you might not. I don't know. But that's too early in the day on a Saturday. We have other things to do. But check out one of my live streams when I'm doing my games, if you haven't already, because you know what? I know my stuff with that, and I'm learning it here. I'm a student of the game. I take pride in what I do with the sports, and I'm so impressed with the AFL. This is a freaking blast. In that Watch AFL app, I am watching all the games, past replays, past stuff, the Brisbane Lions app, going through all their past things. I'm gonna be well-versed in this, guys, by the end of the season. And again, we're going to be outdoors and vlogging as well. And I'm going to be going back to the field, and I'm going to be kicking that Sharon, and you guys are going to watch me improve as time goes on with that ball. With this right there, I'm going to improve. So there's going to be more videos of that. I appreciate every single one of you for your patience and your time and taking that time out to help me out along my journey here. I am loving all this about it. Me and Rock are looking to come to Australia, whether it's this year or next. We are really trying. We're going to make it, and I can't wait to meet a bunch of you and be at the games. I want to be at the MCG, and I want to be at the Gab. I want to see 2 games. I want to see the Lions, and I want to see whatever game's going on at the MCG at the time that we're there. So, guys, thank you very much. If you haven't already, subscribe, bell notice, hit that like button. Leave the comments, as you guys always do. Basement Squad Reacts. Johnny Basement. Please subscribe to both, and I will see you guys on the next video and maybe in the live stream tonight. Thank you very much, guys. I'm Johnny Basement, and I am out.